I was too conservative shooting the ball. Like, I should have walked into way more threes. I should have looked for more threes.
It did seem like there were a lot, even just watching this game, you could have taken 11 threes in this game.
Mike D'Antoni used to always say, guys, play faster. It's less tiring.
Yeah.
If you want to play slow and let them wrestle you guys, you're going to be exhausted. Play faster. And, and I think we both agree, like, that was the glass ceiling for the Suns teams, is that we played a style that was thought to be revolutionary at the time. But really, we should have doubled down. And Mike said this before. We should have played faster. We should have played smaller. We should have shot way more threes. We were just playing a style that suited our roster, suited our personnel. It was foreshadowing for the future. But this game was totally a San Antonio Spurs game. It was played in their style, their pace, their speed. We beat them. We got to 2-2, and then obviously we'll get into the suspensions and all that. But we're not going to beat them that many times playing that style. And so I think it showed how much we'd grown, that we could beat them on the road playing their style. But the deck was stacked against us, and we had to go farther. But we had this glass ceiling where the game wasn't ready for that yet.
Right.
We didn't value the analytics. We probably weren't even analyzing things to the extent we are now, or even 2 or 3 years after 2007. So it's fascinating to look back and watch, like, wow, why were we playing so slow when we were thought of as a fast team?
I talked to Daryl Morey about this 2 days ago. I told him we were doing this podcast, and he obviously works with Mike. And he said, Mike, when he watches those Suns games now, he gets so mad because he sees all the things you guys should have been doing. And at the time, it's like, wow, he's a revolutionary.
Yeah.
Look at all the threes the Suns are doing. You guys averaged 24 threes during the regular season, which at the time was a lot.
Yeah, now it's nothing.
And you only made 5 in this game, which I thought was incredible. And you won. But in 2007, this was about as far as you can push the pace. I think one of the rules that really helped, which they did after this series, a few years after, was the 14-second rule. Because that really made it hard, especially after offensive rebounds. Teams would just pull it back out, reset. That was something the Spurs love to do. And the pace now is just, you kind of have to keep up with it, or you're going to die. And I think you guys would have thrived with that.
Yeah, for sure. Mike, I think Mike could sense it. It was just, we were pushing against the trend, like the fans, the media. You can't win this way. And instead of doubling down and ignoring him, going farther, Mike was the one that was kind of ahead. I think he wanted, his instinct was to speed it up. But, it's just all of us. Like, the way I would have played today would be so different from the way I played. I grew up playing the game where people told you, as a point guard, go 5 for 7, 7 for 10, and get all your teammates involved, loving the game, feeling empowered. That's the way I approached the game. So I got more aggressive in the fourth quarter because I'm trying to win the game, but I didn't come out like guns blazing, try to, get 20 in the first half, because I didn't think that would do my team any favors. Now we know numerically it just makes way too much sense and not enough sense. And so obviously there's a balance, the way you manage your team and run your club.
I'm still pro your way, though. I still think that's because, Isaiah Thomas won 2 straight titles doing that, of everybody else for 42 minutes. Let me handle the last 6.
Sure.
And you were doing that for those Suns teams.
Yeah, and I think there's a balance to be set, but I think I was too conservative shooting the ball. Like, I should have walked into way more threes. I should have looked for more threes.
It did seem like there were a lot, even just watching this game, you could have taken 11 threes in this game pretty easily.
If it was today, would have, no question. But at that time, it was, taking bad threes was kind of like a cardinal sin. Now it's like, I think it's gone too far. We take too many bad threes. I'm all for take a lot of threes, but I think those open mid-range shots are what give you better quality threes. So I think that's where the Warriors are great, taking those mid-range shots. They lead the league in those, and that opens up, that makes the whole court, something you have to cover instead of just the basket and the three-point line. So I think there is a balance to be made in there, but yeah, we would play the game differently. It would have suited us more. And there was, like I said, I don't know if that's a good way to describe it, but like a glass ceiling for our train of thought, or where the culture and society and the history of the game was at in that moment, and it hadn't been broken yet. And while we might have been a precursor to it, we didn't smash that window down.
Right. And the irony is, if you win this title, you would have.
In a sense, yeah. It would have allowed us to take it further, right? We would have validated.
So the legacy of this game and this whole series is you get fouled, you're up 3, Manu misses a layup, you get the rebound, 30 seconds left. You get fouled by somebody else, Finley, and then you're continuing to dribble. Horry comes over and body checks you. You go flying. Then it felt like you sold an extra half split kind of second reaction to make sure you got the flagrant two.
The Spurs were the kings of that.
Yeah.
You know, selling it, doing, and
Man,
by the way, maximum respect. I'm not complaining. They would cheap shot and then sell it that they got cheap shot or vice versa. You know, they were great at that. And I respected, like, that's great gamesmanship. It's great sport, you know, sporting.
It's a soccer thing.
It's a talent. I mean, whatever it is, it's maybe it was a foreign thing that was adopted here, but recently, maximum respect. And so maybe I was like, let me sell this for a second. Then I was just got pissed.
Right. You got up, you're ready to like throw down.
You bounced up pretty quick. Looked like you wanted to go after him.
Well, you know, I've been working on the guns a little bit, so a couple combos might have landed some points to the body.
I mean, Raja was already in there, but then the big moment is Amari and Diaw come off the bench. And I hated this when it happened that they got suspended. I understand the letter of the law, but my whole thing is like, you're the leader of that team. You're the reigning 2-time MVP. This is the biggest game of the season. You've just basically clinched the game by getting this rebound, and their 10th man just body checked you in the scorer's table. Just as a teammate, my reaction is going to be to move toward you.
Yeah.
Like,
I think also there have been a lot of cheap shots.
Yeah.
You know, things that happened throughout the series. So it was like, not now this. And so their reaction was to jump up. To be honest, though, like what was unfortunate about both of them is that I think that Amari and Boris were more interested in coming to me.
That's what I mean.
Than instigating, right? Like it's one thing if they're running and you can tell he's trying to grab something. He's going to grab the first person he can. But it was like they were running towards me and, man, what a terrible blow.
What was it like rewatching it?
I mean, that part of it, there was nothing new. I was like, I think I was more, what hurt me more was just seeing the game, the environment, how close we were, how, like a game like that, we won. We shouldn't have won the way the game was played. You know,
no, Duncan got in foul trouble.
We defended, we held them under 100, I think. Like we defended well enough and we, you know, could outscore them in the crunch. Like that was the growth and maturity that team had taken from just a team that was playing fast and everyone said, you can't win. We put ourselves in that position. We probably should have taken it farther by playing quicker, shooting more threes. But having said that, we're right there and we're going home 2-2. And, you know, I'm more frustrated in like the game itself than the conspiracy and the, you know, which we can get into. But, you know, that stuff to me is like, that's out of my control. Right. What's in my control was like, God, just being a little bit better, having a little better perspective of the big picture and how we were playing, and maybe just having, I don't know where, but having a little more pep in my step somehow.
Right.
That's what eats at me, not necessarily the conspiracy and the suspensions and that last play by Robert.